This video will demonstrate the process of creating a job in SpectraMagic NX2. A job is basically a set workflow of one or more measurements that can be accompanied by image and text guidance. The workflow, or job, can show or emit data results from the operator and can be run on repeat from the device with ease. Creating a job requires a little setup from the operator. Firstly, using the device to measure targets, if you want your job measurements to relate to a target rather than to produce absolute colour data. So you should measure targets following best practice and then name them so they're easily identified. You should also take photographs that you will use to guide the user. This could be the correct site on a product, the instrument taking the measurements on the product, or a technical drawing with arrows. Whatever works best, while considering that the display on the device is limited to an image size of 240 by 128 pixels, so it is best to keep the image relatively simple. Job mode can be found in the instrument menu and then the sub-menu instrument environment settings with a compatible instrument connected to SpectraMagic NX2. The system will read for any job files currently stored on the device and then show the 5 job slots available. To create a new job, highlight a free slot and press Edit. The job settings menu will open and you have the option to name the job, add the first step, or to load an existing job. I'm going to name the job and then click the plus button to add the first step of this job. The system asks whether this step is for operation or result. For the first step, you should always select operation, as result relates only to the previous operation. To create the job, you can select an image from your machine and add some instruction text. It's necessary to have pre-prepared the images you'll use, and although the system does scale and stretch the images, you will get best results if you create a file that has already been somewhat prepared. In my testing, some large images produced unexpected results. The system will convert to a 240 by 128 pixel image. Once I've added the relevant images for my job, I'm going to select one to be used for the first step so that it is displayed in the preview in the bottom left. Then I'm going to add a description in the comment field. The field is limited to 100 characters, so I'm providing some information about the sample, where, how and how many times it should be measured. This is reflected in the preview. Moving over to the right hand side of the job screen, I can first select whether I want the measurement to relate to a specific target or to generate absolute colour data. In this case, I'm going to use a target and click the button Select Target Data. The job function will now read target colours that are stored on the device and display them ready for selection. I'm going to check the data here and select the correct target and click OK. The following fields will control the measurement conditions for the job, so you can set a default data name for the samples. For compatible devices, you can toggle whether gloss is included in the measurement. Specular component included, excluded or both, and you can configure some manual or automatic averaging. Note that although aperture is provided as an option, changing apertures requires calibration, so each job should only use one aperture. Now that you've added this step, you can check the job tasks in the top left and decide whether to add further steps or display results. I'm going to add a new step to the job that shows us the results for the previous step. The results screen is presented and it is now possible to customize how results should be shown. At the top, there are back and next buttons to toggle, and I'm going to come back to those in a second. But you can select one or more illuminants, whether specular component included, excluded or both is shown, and up to 7 custom items including individual values such as L star, A star, or B star, difference values such as delta E, or indices including whiteness, yellowness, or any of the user equations that are loaded to the machine. Again, the preview is shown in the bottom left of the window. Note now the toggle buttons for back and next at the top of the screen. If, for example, the operator knows they made a measurement error during the measurements, back would allow them to step back and re-measure if enabled. I'm now going to repeat the process for completing the 2 job steps to add further job steps and result screens to my job. Once I've added all the desired steps to the process, I'm going to check the box labelled "Ask whether to repeat the job again after the last step," which will help the user to efficiently repeat the process if required. And to finalise, I'm now going to click OK, which will export the job directly to the device. Note also the option in the top right of the screen to save the current job, if, for example, you need to send it to another site or another user where it can easily be imported and downloaded to their local devices. Now my job is loaded to the instrument, and it is accessed on the device by pressing Menu and then using the left and right keys to move to the rightmost menu. Now use the up and down keys to highlight the correct job and press the middle key to start the job. You can see on the display the image and comment that was created in SpectraMagic NX2, and I'll now follow the instruction for 3 manually averaged measurements on the surface. I can check the standard deviation if perhaps I lifted the device or made some other error, and take additional measurements if needed, or select Save. Now my results screen is displayed as configured, and as it looks okay, I can use the middle button to move on to the next part of the job. Once all the steps in the job have been completed, you can see that the device asks if I would like to perform the job again. I'm going to select OK, and the job begins again. This time I'm going to measure the sample but lift the device too early during the measurement, and then use the back button on the results screen to be able to repeat a job step. When the device is next connected to the computer, job results can be imported, stored, analysed and presented just like any other measured targets and samples. For more information on using Job Mode, or to get the most out of using SpectraMagic NX2, please contact your local representative, and subscribe to this YouTube channel to be notified when new videos are available.
Konica Minolta